Awesome. We're live. We're on Facebook simultaneously as we are on our YouTube channel. If you're watching us on Facebook, could you please, pop over sometime to YouTube and click the subscribe button and, maybe like it, post a comment, leave a comment. Let us know what you think about our shows. We have a lot of different shows, so everyone knows. We got Friday Night Likes, which is becoming one of my favorite YouTube shows in general. Where John Nolan from Philly has 3 different guests. It's kind of like an around the horn ripoff, but it's awesome. I love it. And we got tomorrow night the OG debate with me and Lee, my original co-host, and Wayne. Wayne from West Ham is Why We Drink podcast. If you guys haven't listened to that, it's hilarious. Check that out. It's on all the different podcast platforms. So that said, we have a very special episode tonight. This is the first time we've actually had 3 guests on. It's kind of cool. So we'll get cracked in a second. Let's see here. So we got Liam from Fresno, which is awesome.
Yes,
so
sir.
Thank you, Liam, for popping in tonight.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
And, we got Larry from Indy, and Ma Blaze. What?
You can call me Mark. You can call me Mark. Phil, yeah.
Mark. Okay. All right. Yeah. I don't know. Sometimes people put their handles on there. They don't want to, divulge their real name in case, they got the IRS after them or something. But,
You can go, Mark. You're
all right,
good.
Mark. Well, Mark, pleasure, man. It's I've been trying to get you on for a couple of weeks now too. So it's so nice to have you all. Just so you know, we have a live chat going on for not just the guests, but people viewing this. If you're not watching this live, please check us out live sometime because we got a live chat that's pretty lively. Right now, we got Neil from Australia, South Australia. He says it's 11:29 a.m. there right now on Wednesday morning. So he's about quite a few hours and a half ahead of us, which is neat. He's a regular of ours. Pretty cool. Neil, I hope you get your scarf soon, buddy. I mailed it last week. But anyway, that said, we're gonna go kind of like clockwise tonight, make it easy for myself. So we'll start with Mark. Mark, how on earth did you become a hammer man?
Great story. So there's a show in England called the IT Crowd, if anybody's ever heard of it.
Yes, that's
okay. So I worked in IT many years ago in Philly, and I still do. And so I watched the show and seeing the episode where the 2 guys want to become men, and so they learn soccer quotes and things like that. And they're at a bar and meet a guy, and then I think Chris O'Dowd, he's looking around the room and he sees a ham and he sees West Ham. So I went through 12 years of my life thinking West Ham was a joke for the television show. And then my son was born, and one morning after watching Mickey for, however many hours of the morning there, and I was like, let me just put on some Premier League and see what's on. And it was West Ham. I forget who they're playing, maybe like Chelsea or somebody. And I was like, oh, West Ham is a real team. It wasn't a joke just for the television show. Yeah. So I watched it, and I was I've been following for about like 5 years now, I guess. But it was when they're the last games at Upton Park and that season. So they had Dimitri Payet and things like that. And I was like, for thinking a team that was a joke, here's my team, and I loved it and followed it, and every game since then, I've been watching them and.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. So
they joke, I don't know, but it's I love every little bit of West Ham. They're great.
Yeah, no, it's addictive. That's funny you said that. IT Crowd. A few people have mentioned that. They're part of the reason why I fell in love with them. They were, like you said, they were put in my mind back in 2007 when I watched IT Crowd, and I love that episode. That's probably my favorite IT Crowd episode as well.
That's great.
Check that out. I keep forgetting. I gotta pull up the name of that sometime so everybody can watch that episode. But it's a great show anyway. And I also watched Black Books, and they had an episode. Actually, the very first episode of Black Books.
That's a good show too.
Yeah, they rip on Millwall. So that's awesome too. But no, it's part of the reason. So it was in my brain, when I wanted to actually, pick a team. But there's multiple reasons why I fell in love with West Ham, but anyway, let's go down to Liam. Liam, what's your story, man? How on earth did you get become a hammer?
Sure. So originally, I'm from Syracuse, New York. It's a very very Irish area called Tipperary Hill. Like we even have a traffic light that's upside down, so the green's on top instead of the red. Yeah, it's pretty cool. But when I was a kid growing up, my grandma, actually, to tie into Mark's story with TV, she was really into a show called EastEnders. So it's a soap opera that happens in East London, and the pub that a lot of the male figures will kind of populate is the Queen Victoria. And in there, they're all Hammers fans. So that was put in my head when I was a kid, like late 80s, early 90s. Yeah. I mean, at that time, we really didn't get Premier League games, at least not where I was. No. So like that was kind of in the back of my head for a long time. And then probably early 2000s would be when there was random matches that would show up. Typically, whenever we were playing, like a Big Six, you might be able to catch that randomly. Yeah. And then I was actually in a band at the time. And I'd grown up listening to like Cockney Rejects, the Specials, Clash, a lot of London-based bands.
Yeah.
So I kind of always knew I was going to be a London fan. At some point I was going to have to pick a team that was out of London, and West Ham had already been in the back of my mind. So early 2000s, kind of casually started supporting West Ham. As the years went on and it started to become a little bit more prevalent here, you could catch a couple more matches. I dug really into West Ham, especially, early 2000s, where we struggled, dropped down into second division. We're able to work our way back up, and then just the revolving door of managers that we went through from like, what was it? It was like Pardue to, I remember Kirbishley, when we finally, Zola, Grant. When we finally got to, it was 2011 was when I moved from New York to California because my wife's from here. And at the same time, we had just dropped because Robbie Keane didn't pull his weight. Yeah. And he's been hands down my favorite footballer for years, so I was really bummed out. That was kind of a letdown. But I came out here. Robbie Keane got sold off to LA Galaxy, so that's why I've been a LA Galaxy fan since I moved out here as well. But yeah, so since then, 2011 was really able to kind of dive a little bit more deep into, just connecting with other fans, being able to catch more matches. NBC finally bought, was like what, 2013, 2014, finally got the rights from ESPN and Fox that they could show all the games. And they spoiled
us every game.
Oh, yeah. And it wasn't that stupid paywall that they decided to put on after the fact. No, same here. But my son was born December 2014. So that whole season, I'd sneak downstairs while my wife would be asleep, and I'd have him, in the little like rucksack, and I'd be singing, Forever Blowing Bubbles to try to keep him asleep. And I'm trying to like silently cheer. So, he's been a Hammers fan. He'll cross the arms for pictures. I got him the 2013, 2014 kit so he throws it on whenever dad throws a kit on. So,
yeah, man.
So I'd say, at this point, I'd say casually for the last 20 years, I've been a Hammer, but religiously within the last decade, never miss a match. And out here on the West Coast, it's a lot harder because some of those matches start at 4:30 in the morning. So I have a lot of respect for the Fresno Irons here, because those guys will pop down to a pub ready to rock and roll at 4:30.
Ready to roll, man.
Yeah, my wife and I, we just welcomed our daughter to this world, so I haven't been able to pop down for any games this season, but I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, man, you got to. It's one of those things where I have to as well. I got to get out there. Kyle is a nut, man. He's a nutcase, and I don't know where he gets his energy from, but I want some of it. And I don't know, maybe it's somewhere in the Fresno water. I don't know.
It's funny though, because I'll be coaching my son's soccer team, and I'm kitted up, and I'll have people walk over. This guy Franco comes over, and he was like, "Oh, you love your West Ham kid? It's beautiful." I was like, "Oh, thanks, mate." And he's like, "Oh, you guys got to come out to one of the pubs." And I was like, "All right." And then the coordinator for our league's a West Ham fan as well, so we're around. That's cool. It's cool.
That is awesome. No, I love seeing that. So yeah, man. That's funny because 2011, actually halfway through the 2011 season, that season we got relegated. 2010, 2011. That's the season I started, unfortunately, regularly. but which was
ruined it. We ruined it for everyone.
But the club needed that so bad, because what happened thereafter, man, that 11-12 season and championship was great because we were watching them win.
Yeah.
win matches, and then they get promoted, and the playoff final, man, there was nothing like that, man. That to this day, it's my favorite match I've seen on
you
television.
could see we outclassed the division. You know what I mean? I think at the end of the day, we're one of 7 or 8 teams that have never dropped lower than the second division, and there's a reason for that. Like even when we struggle, we're still a I don't know if we can curse on this, but we're still a B8 team. Okay, we're a badass team. I mean, I don't care who the coach is. I don't care who the players are. We've got more heart because we have a stronger fan base that's more dedicated than any other club out there. And I will battle to the death. I'll die on that hill. But yeah, I mean that season for sure. If you were not a West Ham fan, like an American West Ham fan by that point, I mean that just from there we were always going to move our way up. So I'm glad that you were able to suffer through that season the same as us.
Yeah, but just spoiler alert, in the rapid fire questions at the end of the show, one of the questions is what's your favorite curse word? So
there you go.
So you can definitely swear, and that one's a rough one because usually it gets pretty brutal with these answers.
Yeah.
But anyway, so Larry, man, how on earth did you become a Hammer?
So I'm 31. I went to college in 06, 07. I grew up in central Indiana in the middle of freaking nowhere. We had no soccer program. Our cross country team was basically a bunch of soccer heads because we didn't have a soccer team.
Yeah.
Essentially, we would play soccer on Friday for cool down, kind of thing. So we really didn't have a lot of exposure to that whole world until I went to college. And my roommate was a big fan of West Ham actually, and then our suite mates played soccer on the university team. So we kind of got exposed. I got exposed to that. It was like a world opening thing. And so he kind of got me into it in 2006. Cool. And I've just followed along, hook, line, and sinker ever since then. So I've moved around a little bit. Indy's a pretty big, we've got a blossoming base around here. Not so much West Ham, but just soccer in general. We have got the Indy 11, which is a USL team. And that world is pretty huge. So Liverpool is the king in our city. Unfortunately, so
same here.
I mean, everywhere right now, it's easy to be a Liverpool fan.
Yeah, but I live in Massachusetts, which the Henrys, the Red Sox owners own.
Right.
Yeah.
So it's not too bad. Like a lot of my friends, a lot of the Indy 11 dudes are all high on Liverpool. So I kind of am the counterculture guy, which is nice. We kind of have that's our fan base here. We're kind of a bunch of rejects. And so we're working with, we've got a guy who's an expat, owns a Union Jack pub in town. That's kind of where we meet if we can. Usually it's full of Chelsea and Liverpool guys, but if we can.
They won't like it too much. You'll see less and less of them.
Yeah. I know that we can sneak in there, and then especially when we play each other, we kind of just show up, and we get a bubble machine sometimes.
Right on, man. I love that.
Yeah. So it's a good deal. But yeah, so we were kind of new and blossoming, really. We just started that group probably 2 or 3 weeks ago.
Nice.
And so it's a new thing for our city. So it'll be nice. I'm sure there's plenty of us that we don't know yet.
That's what this show was all about. That's why we started this show, was to unearth all of these hammers, because me and Lee, my original co-host, we had this discussion saying that he didn't believe that there was as many West Ham fans in this country as I seem to believe. And I'm like, no, is that a challenge? Let's prove this. All right, let's unearth everybody. So we're doing it, and it's really cool because now Jeff is his name. Jeff Martinez, is that someone who's helping you out, or?
Yeah. So him and I connected through the Big Hammer page. Just because I think there was a post that where are we all from and stuff, and everything. And Indy's pretty centrally located as far as the state. I don't know if you're familiar with us, but it's easy to get to. Everything's about an hour drive to us, and there's traffic bad. So, and we're actually Indy's the nice thing that's growing about us is we get a lot of people moving from other cities, the coast, moving to Indianapolis. So that's brought a lot more fan base to our city as well. I think that's why we're kind of blossoming. So.
How far? See, I'm not the best with geography. I'm okay, but how far is Indy to any other big cities in other states? Are you somewhere near
it's about a
couple hours.
Yeah, it's about an hour and a half, 2-hour drive to Chicago. About an hour and a half to Louisville, Cincinnati. Same goes for Columbus, maybe 2 hours to Columbus, maybe 3 hours to St. Louis.
Okay, you just mentioned 3 right there that you got to visit, because if it's only an hour and a half drive, man, I know it's early and stuff, but usually you got to visit Chicago Hammers. We actually have one of our hosts who does like our opposition match preview shows. Justin, he's from Chicago Hammers. We're great friends with Chicago Hammers. They get decent turnouts all the time, especially if you're a new group. You want to get pointers and tips and actually firsthand see how like another group actually operates. That's one. St. Louis is another one. But Columbus, we have 2 podcasts on our network. One of them is American Hammers Radio flagship, podcast. But we also have the Columbus E13 podcast. It's basically that supporters group running their own podcast on our network, and they try to give their tips and stories about the actual supporters group experience themselves. It's really neat, and Kevin's a great guy over there. And I think that if you're starting a new group, you're an hour and a half away. At some point, try to make a plan to just head over there one time and watch a match with them, because you can see how they do things. Dude, they have Father Jack inside their pub, an animatronic Father Jack from Father Ted. I don't know if you guys know what Father Ted is, but it's basically yeah. So that's fucking awesome, and they can program it to sing any song.
Oh, that's nice.
So they're trying to get it to sing Bubbles. They're trying to program it, but apparently the motor was burning. I don't know. They got to get a new motor for it. But that's just, dude, check them out.
Absolutely.
All right, so let's go back around again and give me any. So, Mark, have you been over yet? Over for any matches?
No.
Any plans to? Any?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's. I got to figure that one out to get the. Well, I got. So my son's 5. I have a daughter who's 3. So it's trying to get over there to plan all that. But it's going to happen. I between me, my brother, he's a Chelsea fan. I got a friend who's a Watford fan, an Arsenal supporter, and a Liverpool, and recently an Everton one as well. So we're all trying to figure out, like, okay, everybody's got kids, but let's try to do a potential long weekend of maybe like a Thursday to a Sunday. Find a time it where there's a good 7:30 in London, and we can drive to a 12:30 match in London. Yeah. Drive somewhere else to a Sunday and try to get like as many matches in as we can in a short amount of time. So, and I looked at flights too aren't bad. I mean, out of New York and things like that, they're only
getting lower and lower and lower.
Yeah, it's like $600, maybe a round trip or something like that. It's not the end of the world. So, and timing wise isn't bad from Philadelphia, New York to get over there. So, it's on my list. I will get over there and see a match for sure.
I was looking in for March, because we were trying to get this try to get as many hammers as we can, Americans, to go over and share like multiple 7-bedroom Airbnbs over there. You know what I mean? Like get the whole experience for a whole week. And actually, if they don't do the damn fixture changes, it'll work out great.
Oh, yeah.
Can't predict that. But Arsenal away in March, and then the week after. Wolves at home, or Wolves at home first, and then Arsenal away. I can't remember which one it was, but they're both London, and that would be kind of cool to spread out and have fun, man. But so we have a Discord. I don't know if anybody knows what that is, and we have an actual page on that, or a channel in that's dedicated to the London trip for March. If anybody's interested, if anybody's watching this, if you're interested, hop on in, because we need numbers. Once we get a definitive number, then we can figure out what the cost is going to be. And we're trying to make it so that all anybody has to worry about is their own flight. You know what I mean? That's what we're trying to work out. So
if we can just take the month off. We've got March 7th, we've got Arsenal away. Next week, the following week, we've got Wolves at home, and then Tottenham away, and then Chelsea at home. So
I know, dude.
Forget work, forget kids. This is way more important.
See,
one of us who's ever been on this show has got to have got to win the lottery, and then literally just pay for all of the guests from the show, the history of the show, and just pay for all of us to come over and do that. That'd be awesome. I know. We thought about that. We thought about doing Wolves and then Spurs.
Yeah.
But Spurs, the tickets would be so much more difficult to get than What I'm told anyway. Then Arsenal, because Arsenal, there's a lot of empty seats. So,
Surprise, surprise.
Maybe they'll have a captain by then.
Yeah, man.
What?
Liam, what about you, man? You been over yet?
Not yet. No, we had plans to go the last season of the Bowlin, but it was not to be. One, flights were extremely expensive during that year. Because my entire family still lives in New York. I got one sister that lives outside of Philly, in a town called Jameson. Ha ha ha. But right, an Irish kid living in Jameson. No, but we had plans to go then. But one, like, our son was still real young. My wife's not a huge fan of flying, like even the trips back to New York, let alone, transatlantic flights. So I think what we've decided now that we've got our daughter as well, is we're going to wait till she's about 4 or 5. And by that point, our son will be about 9. And I feel like that's a good age for him to really get the atmosphere and get the experience. Cause like for me, we still have family that lives in Ireland. So, but they're all on the Western seaboard. So like I can fly into Shannon and I can spend time with family, but then I'm going to have to rent a car, travel to the Eastern seaboard, take a ferry across, and then get all the way across to, to London. So it's a bit of a travel. So it's more about just plotting out exactly what we're going to do, who we're going to see, and where we're going to try to spend the time. But that's ideally, I mean, that would be the goal. But I think if we're going over, I'm going to want to catch at least 2. I don't want to go and just only see one game. I want to see at least 2 because, like I said, Irish luck will have it. We'll get battered. So we gotta have a backup game just in case we go, studs up.
I caught the last 2 of the 17-18 season. And how I managed this was I let my wife take a girls' vacation to Mexico.
Smart.
I got to take a solo vacation to London.
Nice.
No kids.
But my wife, she's on 2 fronts with it, right? Because she would love to go to England, right? She would love to go to Ireland. Yeah. She absolutely wants to go abroad, but I made the mistake of letting her watch Green Street Hooligans, and she assumes that every game is like that. And I'm like, B, that's just not it's Hollywood. Like, this is not the case.
Or it's Turkey.
Yeah.
The good news is they all know how to punch like Elijah Wood, so you're going to be fine.
That's what I'm saying. See,
Bulgaria.
Look, I grew up in the punk rock scene. Like, if you don't think I could throw a punch and stomp with my steel toes, like, you got another thing coming. Like, you're protected, B. You're good.
Yeah, but my wife said too that she said next time I go, she's coming with, which also means the kids, and I would love for my son to experience that. He's 11, and I would love for him to experience that now.
He's of age.
At the same time, I mean, I also want to experience it with the guys at the pub.
Yeah,
you can't really do that with the kids.
No, you just sneak them a pint, they'll be fine.
All right, Larry, what about you? Have you gone, or are you planning on going? Or
no, I plan on going. Indy. So our airport just started nonstops to London and Paris. So I'd like to nonstop to London, catch a couple matches, and then head over to Paris for a little bit.
Yeah.
And so that's our plan. We got plans to go to Israel next year, so it might be the year after. So it might be a little more longer than I'd like, but maybe I can plan the whole thing, just take a month off. I'm in real estate, so I kind of work whenever the market's working. So
I
can work remote as long as I have internet access.
Nice.
So if I can squeeze it out for an entire month, that'd be nice.
Yeah, man. I didn't keep in mind the exchange rate, I guess.
Who knows, man? It might be better.
Well, I know exactly. So we can all wish, but I was I had an allotment, right? Like, I planned this out. I had a whole budget and everything else, and I spent 10 days there, and by day 6 I was broke. I hadn't even gone to the second match yet. I had to get more money and all that shit. Anyway, that was great. And plus, the internet out there sucks. And for cellular service, even though a lot of cellular companies like Verizon and Sprint and everybody else, they do have international plans, they aren't necessarily the best out there.
Right. But you pay tooth and nail probably too, right? Like, you're
it was $10 a day, which ended up, doubling for data. It was like $10 a day for cell service, then an extra, taxes, and hidden shits and fees and whatnot. Anyway, but yeah, no, it's a must. We all got to go, and flights seem to be going down like everywhere.
Yeah.
Like for me, like I was saying, for March, I saw it was like $350 round trip, nonstop Virgin from Boston, fucking, Heathrow. So
amazing.
Yeah, I was like, dude,
it costs more to go out west than it does to go over, across the country.
Yeah.
I know, dude. It's seriously, it cost me like $360 to go to Dallas, where I met up with the Hammers, Dallas Hammers, and then when I was looking, the first trip I made to go visit a supporters group here in the country, I was looking at Fresno, Dallas, and Denver, and because there was 3 different places I've never been, I would love to go. And I looked at Fresno. I'm like, oh fuck, I got to go to San Francisco, and then I got to go down, take another flight. I'm like, no, I'm going direct, or I'm not going at all. I hate airports. Anyway, less the better. And I'm like, Denver, awesome, great. It's fucking $650. I'm like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
So yeah, I'm like, oh, I'm going to Dallas. Awesome. But it was a great time. And Dallas was they were great hosts. So if you guys are ever in the area, and not only that, just there's a Facebook group. I think there might be some sort of Twitter stuff out there too. Or just ask Wayne McMullen. He's the guy from West Ham is Why We Drink. The guy, the Dallas Hammer guy. He's got the whole list of all the different supporters groups out there. So if you're ever on vacation anywhere in the country during this West Ham season, hit him up and find out where all these people are, because he's got some that I didn't even know existed. Because we're trying to
it's awesome.
Get as many of these groups on our show to help showcase them. There's a few Bay Area Hammers is one that we've not had on yet. I know there's Rose City Irons up in Portland, Oregon, and we haven't had them on yet. We've had Seattle, but the Indy tonight. This is great. Love tapping into that. Because we got Chicago. We've had Columbus. We've had St. Louis. We've had Memphis. Memphis was a good one too. All right, guys. We're almost at the halfway point, but before we do, I want to get each and every one of yours favorite player when you first started watching. Which player when you first started following West Ham you gravitated to? Which was your first favorite player for West Ham? I'm sorry. You'll go counterclockwise. Clockwise.
Go ahead, Mark. Go ahead.
Sorry,
yeah, I had to be Payet that was my first season. And
that was a stupid question. I should have.
Yeah, and now he's like such a snake, and it's like, oh well, he tore my heart out, which again is just like classic West Ham there. So that was just all the icing on the cake. Was like, oh, you have this great guy. You see his set pieces. He's phenomenal. I'm sold on the season. Next season, he's just like, I don't want to play. He's got to go down to the U23s, causes Super Slav, all that turmoil, and it was just like, yeah, this is West Ham. This is how I'm getting indoctrinated into West Ham is with that. But thinking of him, he's a great player, and I was instantly sold to him.
Best I've ever seen. And it was. Best I've ever seen in my time following West Ham. He's definitely the best.
He's good.
I've ever watched. I don't know. I'd still watch his highlight reels if I could. I try not to because
we'd be down 2 certain games. We'd be like, oh nope, here we go. He'll just turn it on and we would come back and win. And it was great and kind of miss those days. But it's like, hey, you know what? If he didn't want to play for the team, he wanted to be like that. Good riddance.
Exactly. Same thing with Arnie.
Yeah.
Liam, what about you, man?
Well, first I want to give some shouts to the chat over here. Neil's been saying hi and welcoming everybody. Hello, Neil. Nice to meet you.
Yeah, he's awesome.
And then Ray just called out Tony Cotti. Absolute stunner of a player. For me, I think when I first got into West Ham, it had to be Paulo Di Canio, just because a lot of this stuff, when I was able to watch the games, it was radio broadcasts. And at the time, internet radio was starting to become prevalent in the early 2000s. So you could get a London broadcast of the game. So typically you wouldn't even be able to watch it, but you could just sit there and listen. And I remember being on tour in 2006 and sitting there with my Palm Trio 650 and there's no joke. And sitting in nowhere, Texas, but being able to listen to World Cup games. Right. And or being in tour and South Florida in the middle of the winter, which obviously was humid as hell. But still being able to catch games that way. So I remember definitely like DeCanio, Bobby Zamora. I was really excited when Jonathan Spector became a Hammer, because it was cool to first off just to see American players be prevalent over there, and then to have him score those 2 goals against Manchester United was massive for any American fan at the time. But I would say my longest standing favorite player has to be Mark Noble. I think he embodies the club mentality. He embodies what, not just being a West Ham player, but being a West Ham fan. Like, I fully believe that as much as, we like to have the dick measuring contest of like, hey, who's been a longer Hammer fan, or like, who knows more players, right? Like, Mark Noble has done it and seen it all. Like, there's almost nobody except, like, Neil said it perfect. Bobby Moore maybe might be the only one, or like Billy Bonds, maybe Trevor Brooking, that could like out Noble at this point about being Mr. West Ham. But the only West Ham jersey I have with a player's name on the back is Mark Noble, and it's from that 2014 season, because one, I really liked the thin white stripe on the jersey, and two, Mark Noble's, he's just a badass player, man. He's next level, and anytime he's not in that starting 11, I'm like, we're fucked. No Noble, we're fucked.
Yeah. Listen, I wish I had a good memory. I really do, because we did have somebody else on the show that literally said the same fucking thing. That only numbered 1 jersey, and it was Noble.
Had to be Noble.
Yeah, that's crazy. We've also had somebody else say they've numbered only 1 jersey, and that was Payet. And they said because of that whole saga, they never put another name on the jersey.
Never do it again.
So, Larry, what about you?
If I ever buy someone's specific jersey, I'm guaranteed that it's going to end up in a Payet situation. Like,
don't worry. I have Payet. I have Arnautovic. Trying to think the other one. Well, right now I have Fabianski, but again, injured, so I should just stop buying names on the back of jerseys.
You're the Black Death, Mark.
I know. It's not good. And trust me, if I can go through NFL football teams and everything, it's baseball. It's horrible. I should stop.
Just stop, man.
I should.
Oh, Mark. Oh, God. All right.
For me, 06, 07 was Carlton Cole. When I started playing FIFA, I started playing FIFA in like 03, 04. And so he was always prevalent. And then obviously Mark Noble. Those are the two that stick out the most to me. There's been people that have blipped along the times and stuff like that. There's some people that, like, currently now I'm high on. I'm worried about Lanzini because he got paid, and I think that's obvious. He's kind of coasting. He's got a 5-year contract, so great. Mark Noble. I mean, you can't. He's exactly Mr. West Ham. Like, he's our poster boy forever.
Speaking of Mr. West Ham, we do have a shop, an online shop called. This is a commercial break, by the way, guys. We have an online shop. Thanks for the segment. It's AHTV, American Hammers TV. So the abbreviation. .threadless.com. We have shitloads of designs in there. Not just our logo, which we do have shit with our logos in it. It's awesome. American Hammers Radio, American Hammers TV, American Hammers Network. The whole 9 yards, but we also have, a design from one of the shows that we have called "We Are the Girls in Claret and Blue." It's 2 of our good friends from over in England that literally go to all the West Ham women's games, and they do a show for us on Wednesdays around 2 p.m. Eastern, literally every Wednesday, which is awesome. And they give us more insight about the West Ham women's game, because it seems to be it is growing, which is really cool to see. Anything with West Ham on it, really, you know what I mean? And they do a great job, and I really appreciate them. So the proceeds from those shirts for that particular thing will help get them better equipment and whatnot, so that they can. I mean, basically, they're just using their like laptop and phone right now, and the stock mic and whatever. So anyway, all this stuff, all these shirts that we sell for their show will go to them, which is cool. And we also have stuff like Mr. West Ham. I'm not too savvy with this, so I didn't really pull it up. But basically, just head on over to any of our social media pages, and you'll probably see some of that. Or just go to ahtv.threadless.com, and there's a sale, a 10% off sale right now until November 1st. And I think Yeah, that is the sale. Yeah, 10%. But if it's your first time going onto that website, it's one of those what's it called? What are those Party City type things where like you go to the website and this wheel will pop up, and your first time there, it'll give you a wheel of like 25% off or free shipping or whatever. And who knows, you could probably get 25% off something. And it's worldwide shipping. We don't handle the shipping, so I don't have to pay $25 shipping a scarf, a free contest scarf to the UK again. So they deal with all that, which is great. But we got Mr. West Ham. We got Captain America shield with West Ham colors on it. We got a 1960s style font with West Ham United on it with an old crest, which is really neat. We got like throw pillows, blankets, mugs, skateboards with any of our designs you want on it. It was really cool. Yes, I said skateboard, and also like blankets and shower curtains, bath mats, the whole fucking 9 yards. It's awesome. But anyway, you said Mr. West Ham that rang my bell there. But what I'm going to say,
the Spider Ham one is legit as well. I love that.
Get this scarf on here.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, man. That's a scarf, brother. Yeah. We got scarves for sale too on our regular website, which is AmericanHammersTV.us. $25 a piece, plus a couple dollars shipping and handling, obviously, because it's, if you're inside the US, it's like $5 to ship these guys out. So, yeah. I think, Mark, the quality of those things are awesome, right?
Oh yeah, it's top. Yeah, it's a roughneck scarf. If you have any of those, they're top quality. Yeah, it's a very nice scarf. Yes,
thank you, man. And real quick, we're all going around the table here about the favorite players when we first started following West Ham. So everybody get ready. Get ready in the chat room. It's about that time. And so when I first started watching West Ham, my favorite player was James Tompkins.
Nice.
So drink, everybody in the chat room. I have to, every time I mention James Tompkins, everybody has to drink. All right. That said, we're going to hop into some Hammers polls. We're going to go counterclockwise this time. Oh, yes. By the way, in our shop, we have Hammers polls, shirts, and hoodies, and all that other good stuff, too. And the proceeds, like half the profit actually goes to them, which is kind of cool. So, help them out because we love them, and we go over their polls every single episode. I wish there was a just not so sexual way to say that. So first question, and this is for you, Larry. We'll go counterclockwise, like I said, if you guys understand there. So when should the owners give Pellegrini a contract extension? Now, end of the season, end of next season, or fuck it, don't renew it at all? What do you say, Larry?
Let's see how Tottenham goes. If we have a good showing, then I would say now. Take the pressure off. He's not. It doesn't matter what he's going to do if he gets it now. At the end of the year, I would rather focus on other avenues than worry about that. I'd like to see how. I don't think we should. I've seen some fire Pellegrini stuff going on, and I think it's bullshit. I'm a big fan. I think it's fine. He's a genius. We're going through a lot. It's the same shit, right? We play good against the big six. The people we shouldn't play against. We just play a level over competition, I think. So
yeah,
I think just give it a couple weeks.
I'm so sorry. I didn't even pull it up right away. I'm sitting here reading the fucking thing, and you guys are like, "What the fuck are you talking about?" I'm thinking that you guys can see that, but now you can see that. All right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right.
Yeah. So I
went
off the script there. I would say now, I guess, if that's my four options.
Well, yeah. Because end of season, that's quite a while, man.
Yeah.
And me personally, I agree with you about Tottenham because Newcastle is another one of those that we should beat and we'll probably draw.
Yeah.
But Tottenham is the killer. Like that, if we can't fucking beat a shitty, hurting, mangy.
Mangy, I like that.
Yeah, Tottenham.
Yeah,
I fucking hate them. I really do. I despise Tottenham, and now they're fucking American supporters. Yep. If you guys have watched my show, the show before, yeah. So anyway, I was trying to think of a nasty word to describe them. But anyway,
twats.
Yeah, twats. Twattenham.
Twattenham.
Twattenham. Yeah.
See, Americans do that. See, yeah, it's funny because I mentioned that to a couple Brits. I mean, if you actually type it out, it sounds all right. But then in their head, they're hearing twatting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's the
It's
flat
not
A.
the same. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, all right. What do you say, Liam?
See,
Now, end of season or end of next season, or not at all?
Actually, on that poll, I did end of this season. So I
Okay.
think that it's a 3-year contract. Year 1 was very much about him building the team. I think this season is him trying to figure it out. So I'd say, yeah, we've had some poor showings. I think Everton is probably the glaring one right now. And but even for that one, I don't even blame him for it. I would almost blame him more for just this past game, because I think he had the substitutions wrong. I mean, anytime he subs out Noble, I'm a little bit up in arms about it, because I think that's where we get our bite in the midfield. I mean, when he subbed off Snod, I was fucking completely thrown on that one. But I think with Everton, I think just with that one in general, I wouldn't put it on him. I'd put that one on the players. So I think some of the draws, the losses that we've had have been the players are as much to blame as it is him. So maybe some of it is a motivational standpoint. Maybe it is he just doesn't have the formation correct. And I've seen a lot of people with different ideas for formations that would work, and there's almost not a single one that I would disagree with. I've seen people throw a 4-4-2, which I would agree. I'm partial to a 4-2-3-1. I've seen some people line up a 3-5-2 that looks phenomenal with Masuaku and Fredericks as wing backs. Yeah. Totally in favor. And I think that's where he's missing the mark a little bit, is not trying different systems with these guys. Like I get this idea of, let's put up a little more pressure, utilize a counterattack. Yeah. I think all of us have noticed that Haller is getting isolated up top. He's having to drop back too far to get the ball. And we're crazy if we don't think MP notices the same shit. He's seeing that as well. He's just trying to figure out what's the most obvious solution.
That's what frustrates me most. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and let's be fair. Like, we don't really have wingers with pace. Anderson to some degree, but all they have to do is double team him to shut him down on that side. I mean, he can nutmeg people till we're all claret and blue in the face, but that's not going to allow him to give service into the box if Haller has 3 center backs, shoved up his ass the entire time. Like, you need to have more bodies in the box, so that way, whether it's Snodgrass, whether it's Yarmolenko, whether it's Anderson, when they cross in, they've got targets. And let's be honest, Lanzini at a whopping 5'5", 5'6" is not going to not going to be able to put his head on the ball. At least not as well as the guys that are over 6 foot.
I'd love to see the heat map on Anderson for this year, because I don't think he's ever set a foot inside the box. Yeah. Or very rarely. I mean, it's like once he hits there, he's got that electric dog collar on, and he's not allowed to go in, or just too afraid to. You said something else. So his substitutions have been shit since day one, though. I mean, even last year, and not just his substitution, but last year, some of his regular starting 11s were fucked up. Like we played Everton last year. He started Obiang and Lucas Perez one week, and that was fucking embarrassing. I'll never forget him for that. No, seriously. But I cannot remember the last match where Pellegrini made substitutions, and I was like, man, perfect. That was great. Yeah. You should have done that. Yeah, absolutely, man. But at the same time, what I was trying to say was the thing that frustrates me the most is the fact that it's not a reality show. We can't see behind the scenes. We don't know what's going on at training. We don't know who's actually putting in a shift during training and they earn their spot the next week, or who's fucking, crying about something, but they're not going to go public with the injury, or shit like that. Like, there's so many different things that we just don't see, or 2 players bickering at each other. They don't even want to be fucking next to each other. Yeah. And you know what I'm saying? Like, one of them slept with their girlfriend or their wife or something like that, and we don't know about it. And then, you know what I'm saying? Just shit like that. We have no fucking clue.
Well, and I think, like, Matt Gregory in the chat brings it up perfect. It's like, yeah, you can get rid of Pellegrini, but who do you bring back in? Like, when we were all whining and crying when Allardyce got brought on, right? But he did the job. He wasn't pretty, it was long ball Sam the entire fucking tenure, but he did the job.
I missed that defense though. I missed that fucking fear of players. I don't know if it was the Bolin or it was. I'm talking before the last season of the bowl in. But
Yeah.
Just saying the bowl in, because a lot of players hated to fucking play there at night. You know, it was a fortress at night, and but he always had his team up for those fucking matches, man. And on defense, people were scared of plays because they were super fucking physical. Even Tompkins was physical. Winston Reed was super physical.
I'm about to say Reed was always good for at least a yellow card every game. Game. But he was a soldier. You know, he was a stalwart in that back line, and I just don't think we have that. Like Diop's badass, I get it. Balbuena, I think, had a better showing last season than he's had so far this season. I don't think he's had as many chances. I fucking love Cresswell, and for everybody that wants to blast him and put him under fire, y'all can fuck off. Because I'm sorry, but Cresswell, he gives us more in the attack. He makes smarter decisions in the back. Like, yeah, he has a mistake. Everybody has a mistake. Nobody's perfect. We're all human. But I think
clearly
Cresswell,
this year, everybody.
Yeah, right. But I think Cress holds down that left hand side. I think if you could breed Fredericks and Zabaleta, we would have the perfect right back, because Frederick makes the boneheaded mistakes that Zabaleta has the experience knowing not to do, but Zabaleta doesn't have the pace and the energy that Fredericks has. So you need something that's in the middle between the two of them. But that inherently is the issue that Manuel Pellegrini has, is that he does not have a perfect player in each position. He has a great player. He has a good backup option. But think about it. As soon as the injuries start happening, you know, when Noble was out the first couple games of the season, we were hurting. I mean, we got annihilated with Man City. But as soon as Noble comes back, everyone's like, oh, thank God Mark's back. Oh, thank God, Mr. West Ham. But everybody was slating him before the season started. Oh, he's not in my starting 11. He's not in my starting 11. Like, even us as fans don't have the same starting 11. So to expect Pellegrini to be able to do the same thing, like you said it perfectly, Tim. We don't know the week in and week out. We don't know the behind the scenes and what's happening to get these guys their shot at that starting 11. And until we know exactly who we would put, it's you know, pissing in the wind to expect a coach, especially somebody that it's only his second season. Like, give him a little bit of slack. I get it's the Premier League, but if we want to fully invest in this vision, we've got to trust Pellegrini. We have to trust that he knows what he's doing.
The vision's not getting anywhere. So I get it. I want to trust him. I really do. I mean, I loved the fact that we signed him. It's the best. It's the biggest name we've had as a fucking manager. But my problem is that, like you were saying earlier, Liam, and I think everybody really tapped into this. The formation, man. Like, he doesn't change the formation, he changes the players, and he can't make up his fucking mind. And he'll keep mixing and matching until he finds players that fit his fucking system. Well, I guess it's just not working like that. So he needs to change his fucking system. He needs to change something. But he's not doing. He's so fucking stubborn. He's 68 years or 70 fucking 92 years old. I don't know. George Burns, man.
And think about it too, is like who on his staff is going to tell him to fucking fix it? You know what I mean? Like, let's be honest. Like, are any of us going to go up to Manuel Pellegrini and be like, "Hey, we know you've won the Premier League, but I think your formation sucks. So why don't you try this?" He's gonna tell us to fucking jog on. You know, he's not gonna give a shit.
Where's your badges? Yeah, exactly.
I think that's what's tough. I mean, we saw it with Klinsmann in the national team, right? Where there was never a consistent lineup, there was never a consistent bench, never consistent formation or tactics. Yeah. And I think that's, as American Hammers, I think that's where our frustration lies, is that we've had a taste of that in our national team. So to see it in, you know, the team that we love abroad as well, I think it grates on us. And, you know, either our European brothers, they're feeling the same way. So it's hard for us to really disagree with that. But like I said, at the end of the day, I coach a U6 team, so my tactics are fucking whatever. So I'll trust him.
No
trust
beehive,
him.
right?
Yeah, right. I mean, bumbleball. But I like I said, I'm sorry, man, long-winded. I trust him to the end of this season, but if we do not see steady improvements or some sort of consistency or a vision, then I'm fine with not renewing after year 3. Let him finish out the 3rd-year contract. Let's see who else is ready for a bite at the apple.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that you touched on the substitution pattern too, though. It's exactly like, we don't know who's been hitting like well this week. the changing the system shit, like is it the player system? Like, okay, are we dinged up, or are we being a little bitch, or we don't know exactly what's going on?
But the problem is evident. Like it's fucking Allaire alone up top, and we need to fucking change that. At Utrecht, everybody keeps talking about Frankfurt, but even at Utrecht, man, he wasn't a lone fucking striker, man. He had service. He had people around him, someone to rib off a rebound, or something, or someone to service him, or he loves to fucking hold the ball up. Well, shit, he turns around, there's nobody fucking there. But at Frankfurt, he had two superstars who I was listening to more than just a podcast this morning on my way to work, and they were saying that a great show, by the way, and they were saying that what was it? Both Rebic and the other fucking guy from the superstars over Real Madrid. One of them was at Real Madrid, and then he came fucking scoring goals, and then without Allaire and without that same system, and then fucking Jovic, or I don't know what his name is, something like that, some Croatian guy, Serbian, whatever, and he's not even in the fucking first team in Milan. So you know what I'm saying? Like they're all struggling without each other. You know what I'm saying? There was a nasty fucking partnership there. I'm not saying, I don't know what the fuck I'm saying. I can't say like, hey, let's go sign all those guys. I'm saying, let's figure out what the fuck we got out of our 25-man squad, or whatever the hell it is, and let's figure out a way to make our most expensive player play well.
But do you put Yarmo up there with him, or do you put Yeti? Because I'm saying Yarmo.
I like him a lot.
Yarmo.
Everybody keeps saying give a Yeti a chance. No, you've already got a proven goal scorer with Yarmo. He's been able to do it from the wing. I think if you put Allaire and him as like a, maybe one of them more as like a central attacking mid, and they can play the ball through. You've got two target men, big target men that can muscle other players off the ball, especially if they're battling taller center backs. I like that as a setup, whether you do it in a 4-4-2 or a 3-5-2 or
Lanzini, or there's somebody right behind them. I mean, someone quick and someone with great passing ability, like right behind them. But also not them, because they need someone who's not afraid to shoot. So that's why I'd rather have three up fucking top, man, with fucking when Antonio comes back. Everybody's like, Yarmo or Antonio.
Put them both in. Yeah.
I'm like, fucking put him exactly, dude. So as much as I fucking slated Antonio so much for his like inept fucking ability of football tactics. I mean, he's just got no fundamental football ability, but he's a fucking beast, absolute beast. But anyway, we're going to be running out. We're going to go a little bit over time if you guys don't mind, just so we can get all the rapid fire questions after that. But Mark, what do you think about this Hammers Poll question here?
I'll say end of season 2. I'm not feeling comfortable with him these days, but it's still early in his tenure there. So let's see what he does at the end of the season. If things work out, go for it.
So you're not pissed? You're not all fired up? I was saving you for last, so you could be all like,
I know.
Start tearing the shit down.
I'm not thrilled with him, but I'm gonna try to keep it in. But I think you made a good point, Tim. Is that I feel like a lot of the players are just afraid to shoot these days. They're too cute with being technical and they're passing and things like that. It's like just fucking shoot. When you see Declan Rice taking shots out there, that should tell you something to be like, look, you have really good wingers here. You should be fucking firing nonstop, trying to get and with the Haller stuff. It reminds me of like the Andy Carroll days. Whenever we put Andy Carroll in, all the tactics changed to just shoot crosses in the box to Andy Carroll, and all tactics go away. And it's like, just keep shooting, keep peppering Andy Carroll. And if we're doing the same stuff with Haller, and it's like, look, we have pretty good guys out on this team in the wings and midfield. Like, can't we do something a little different here? Like, where are these other tactics at for a guy who's called the engineer?
Yeah,
should be an engineer.
I'll say don't renew it all just for shits and giggles. Even though I don't really mean that. I don't know. Well, I don't know what I mean. I'm all confused about this, so I'm just gonna say that because whatever. So 45% say renew him at the end of this season. Give him the rest of the season. So that's 2 out of 3. I mean that's like, I don't know. I can't say it's like any job, but I mean if you're not doing your fucking job, you're not earning your money. I don't know. Depending on what state you live in, they could fucking fire you if they have the right to work, something like that. But end of next season, 30%. That close, not really close, but half decent second place there. And then don't renew it all.
That's pretty high.
Well, there's only 125 votes.
Still,
let's see here. 7 hours ago. There's still 3 days left on that, so we'll see what happens later on. We're going to skip any more Hammers polls and get right into these fantastic rapid-fire questions, which is my favorite part. We're going to end up going around for each question. We're going to go question by question instead of just doing down the list and then next person down the list. Kind of like U6 soccer. You don't want them waiting in lines because they get distracted. And
they start punching each other in the nuts. Or something.
Yeah.
My what is it? Third, fourth grade. They don't even do whatever's in my fucking city. They do third and fourth grade, right?
Yeah.
My son's a fifth grader and he's playing on this team because his age.
Yeah.
He just made the fucking cut, so it was like spend too much money on the travel or send him down to the rec league. And I'm like, my son's second year playing soccer ever. I'm like, I'm going to send him down to the rec league. We're fucking killing everybody, dude. It's all, I'm out there yelling and screaming at the kids and nobody says a fucking word to me. And there was one game where we had a referee who is actually on the board for the whole organization. And at the end of the match, he had this stern look on his face and he's like, come here. I want to talk to you. And I'm like, oh, Jesus, finally, I'm going to get fucking busted for yelling and screaming at these goddamn kids. And he's like, I just want to let you know, there's been some rule changes this year. And you can make, what do you say? He said something like you can make, the offsides. I guess there's offsides or something like that now. And I'm like, it was something, I can't remember what it was exactly. It was something stupid. And I was sitting there shitting myself. I'm like, oh my God. I got my wife, my in-laws here, everybody watching me fucking scream at these kids, and I'm thinking I'm gonna get in trouble in front of everybody. And no, I didn't. So whatever. I'm gonna keep yelling at them. Fuck it. All right. So sorry guys, I get sidetracked. Questions. We'll start in the middle this time. We'll start with Liam, and then we'll go up and then down an angle. So we'll go Liam, Mark, and then Larry. Okay, with each question. So it's quick fire, Liam. So just remember, you can elaborate, but you don't have to if you don't want to. So meat pie or apple pie?
Oh, well, I'm an obnoxious person. I'm a vegetarian, so I got to go apple.
Okay. No, that's not a problem, man. Actually, a lot of people say apple, believe it or not. What do you think, Mark? Meat pie or apple pie?
Apple pie.
Right on. Larry?
Apple for sure.
Yeah.
This is the first time. This is the first time.
We had a meetup a couple of months ago, and we did we had the bubble machine, and the restaurant made us all apple pie at 7:30 in the morning.
Nice.
Really?
Oh, that's awesome.
It was a nice little touch.
I had an apple pie in the oven the other day, and I forgot about it. So it just sat at the counter for a week, and no one wanted to touch it. It's fucking too hard. Anyway. Liam, who's your favorite current West Ham player?
Still Mark Noble, for sure.
Right on.
Yeah.
Right on. Mark.
Probably go Declan Rice.
Good.
Right on. That's I think that's mine too. It's close, but anyway, Larry.
I'm gonna go with Yarmo. I'm excited. I mean, I like Mark Noble's the default answer, right? Like,
yeah, kind of.
But I'm excited.
There's no wrong answer really, but unless you say Fredericks, I'll fucking smack you. But, anyway.
Yeah.
Ray and Neil just called us all out for being typical Americans about apple pie. As American as apple pie, brother.
It's dessert. I like dessert. What can I say?
Yeah.
So where Yarmo? So listen, everybody was slagging him off, right? At the beginning of the season, the preseason, everything else, and because it was taking him a little while to get fit. But honest to God, Lee, my original co-host, when we first started doing shows in the summer, and watching these preseason matches, and then we watched the City match, the first match of the season. Every single preseason match leading up to that City match and the City match, Lee was saying, these guys just don't look fit. Like, who the fuck is their trainer? He's like, who is it? The manager's decision? Like, how can we not hold him accountable for his players not being fit? Like, there's somebody in that club. There's multiple people in his fucking staff that somebody's got to have the job of getting these goddamn guys fit. And they looked like shit the first game. And if you guys, I know nobody wants to rewatch that game, but if you do, you'll see they're fucking exhausted.
Yeah.
They're exhausted. They look like shit. They look like they're fucking, I don't know, we're fucking gaining weight for a movie or something. But Yarmolenko especially, though, he just constantly looks like he's fucking dying, man. Like he looks like he just fucking ran 26.2 or the fuck. Like he looks like he's fucked. He's like, oh God, he's got bedhead and shit, and everything else. Yeah. But no, man, it's getting better though.
International duty this past week or 3 weeks ago now. And he played decent with Ukraine. I mean, I just said I'd like to see his development. Sure. Oh, that's big.
Well, I wasn't paying attention. I always do this. I always leave the polls up after the fact during rapid fire. I'm supposed to take it down, but
no, I mean, he's just someone to watch. That's my excitement because also, like, let's be honest, it'd be nice to see Lanzini show up since he got his contract.
Yeah.
Those are things that I want to see, I guess. So that's what I'm watching typically when I'm watching. So,
Mark, did I ask you already?
Yeah, with Declan.
Oh, sorry, man. Neil distracted me, man. Neil's in the chat.
He's keeping you on track, man. He's keeping
I got people like starting. Sometimes the regulars like Ray Borum, and usually I'll put my hat backwards, and he'll call me Fred Durst, and I'll have people fuck with me. I'll have Gabe saying something nice about Fredericks, or telling someone else to tell me to bring up Fredericks, or people that they know I'm gonna fucking rant on. And just stupid shit. They love riling me up, so I get distracted. Okay, that's better. Thank you. You're welcome, Neil. All right, next question. This is one of my favorites. Liam, who frustrates you the most in this current West Ham squad?
Ooh, oh man, that one's tough. There's the part of me that wants to say Lanzini, but I think right now it actually might be Anderson. And I think sometimes it is because I'm too caught up with the whole, he's a world beater, he should be one of the best players we have on the field, and I expect it. But then it's kind of like, or maybe this is just the player that he is. It's kind of the same thing with Lanzini. It's like, he's a great player, but we just have to understand he is an inconsistent player. That's just who he is as a player right now. So I would say either him, or I feel like Fredericks always gives up some boneheaded mistake. I feel like he'll get a yellow at like the most absolute inopportune time, or he'll make a lousy tackle like right outside the box, and you're basically giving him a free goal at that point. So, but yeah, I'll stick with Anderson. Yeah, I think Anderson's probably frustrating me the most right now.
Mark,
I mean, not that he's playing too much, but I still don't understand Masuaku. Just what his position is, some of the stupid things he does. Sometimes he looks great. Sometimes he's just making these boneheaded kind of errors. And I not that he's in the squad these days after he had that red card, but I think he has the pace. I think he's a decent player. It seems like Pellegrini trusts him. They gave him the contract extension, but the guy just, I don't know. He's confuses me, and I would like to see more from him. I think he has a lot of potential, but he never really shows it.
Players that I'm most hardest on, especially for everybody in the chat room who knows this, it's players that I wish they do better. I really do. I'm not ripping on them because I fucking hate them. Like last year when Fabianski won Hammer of the Year, I was fucking ripping and roaring into him because he let in 54 goals. He was also high as it doesn't matter how many saves you have, it's how many you let in. I mean, that's what affects the table. I mean, he still let in a shit ton, and the ones he let in were fucking stupid. I mean, he makes, just like Roberto's doing right now, he makes these fucking 6 saves, and then next thing you know, he's kicking the ball out of bounds. And yes, Fabianski did that like 6 or 7 times last year, like fuck up kicks, like hard right. I'm like, whoa, he's trying to kick it deep, I mean, shit happens to everybody, and I can't imagine being out there and that many thousands of people watching me try to kick a fucking ball. I probably do the same goddamn thing, but I'm not getting paid that much money a week, so I expect better. And I hate goalkeepers because they have one fucking job, and that's to keep the ball out of the net. I've said it a million times. I'm gonna get a T-shirt that says that: keep the ball out of the fucking net. That's their one job. So anyway,
Tim, quick question for you.
So go ahead.
No, sorry, I was gonna say, quick question. Do you feel that your frustration with certain players is tied to their contract, like how much we paid for them? Would you be more inclined to be more frustrated with somebody that got paid more?
It gives me ammunition. It helps my argument, but at the same time, People like Fredericks. Fredericks is another one. I love his pace. I'll never forgive him for being a Spur. I don't know why the fuck we signed someone who was, ever a fucking Spur. But he started there, went to Fulham and everything else. And I hate. That's the other thing I hate about Fabianski. The reason why I hated him last year and Fredericks last year was the fact that we're signing shitheads from relegated clubs. Like, they got relegated. Like, leave them the fuck alone. Send them, keep them down championship, man. Right? They fucked up. Let them fucking regroup and come back up on their own. Don't fucking help them out and give them a spot on a fucking team that we're trying to grow as a club, and we're picking players from that. No, that's a backwards move. Signing Anderson, signing Yarmolenko last year, that's a move upward. Signing Allaire this year, that's great. Now signing fucking Maxi Gomez on a team that almost got relegated last year, that was fucking nonsense. Mitrovic, why the fuck was he even in discussion? I mean, that's stupid. I mean, anyway. Here we go. I'm the one fucking wasting all the time here. Sorry, guys. I have to do a rant or two an episode. I appreciate that. I agree with you, Mark. Just real quick, I agree with you, Mark, with Masuaku. I was super excited when he first started playing this season because he did play very well, and then all of a sudden, what the fuck happened again? So I feel your frustration. Same thing with Cresswell though. He's they're both the same. I mean, they both do very well, or they're doing. Where are you? Where the fuck is Cresswell? What's going on? Same thing with Masuaku, dude. I mean, anyway, Larry, what do you think, man? Who frustrates you the most in the current West Ham squad?
Lanzini for sure, because he's someone that I think has a lot of class. And we see it 1 out of 5 fucking games.
Yeah.
Right. I just was it so bad to want 3 out of 5 games soon to be decent? We just paid him. That's my biggest frustration because I think he can climb that next ceiling. And I hope here's what's happening. He plays out his 5-year contract and then we never get to see that version of him because we paid him for a reason.
Yeah.
To what you said, Liam, that's a big thing on mine is like, I'm okay with someone who shows up once every while if we're paying him a low contract.
Yeah, like 30, 40 grand a week.
This is not like in baseball where people can coast after they get paid. You're getting paid for the expectation of that you're going to play. And that's what we expect. So that's my most frustrating thing, I think, because when he's on, man, like he's phenomenal.
Yeah. But I think he's another guy. Like, go back earlier. He's afraid to shoot anymore. I can't tell it. Like, he was after like Pyatt left. He was the guy. He was the jewel. He was starting to take on those roles and do the, everything that was missing. And now he's become this technical dribbler and focus more on the passing and not seeing them shoot. It's like we need these guys firing to start getting shots on goal to do something because it's becoming, I don't know.
No,
it's
I
not
agree.
there.
This next question, it was originally FA Cup or top 6 finish, but then we realized that everybody was picking the FA Cup. I mean, it was stupid. So we changed it to FA Cup or top 4 finish. So we'll start with Liam.
I'd still say FA. I'd still go with the FA Cup. I mean, I like the idea of a top 4 finish, but like 10 years down the road, who gives a shit if you finish in the top 4? You know what I mean? Whereas like everybody remembers who has FA Cups, and the fact that we have, 2006 obviously was great, but I mean, we haven't tasted that kind of victory since 1980? Like, let's be honest here. I think it's time for us to bring some silverware home. So for me, it's FA Cup all day.
I feel the same way. Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm torn. But real quick, I just want to go back to the last question. So we're going to get, I hope we don't get to that point where we're interviewing somebody here and it says, who frustrates you the most in the current West Ham squad? And they just say the whole fucking team. But so FA Cup or top 6 finish, Mark. I'm sorry, top four finish, sorry.
Yeah, same thing. FA Cup, get the hardware.
That's Champions League, though. See,
we'll get Champions League in our first round of it. It was like a Burnley of last year. It's like, oh wow, Burnley's really making it, and then no, you're gone, and it's done. So it would, unless the team changes drastically and we really have a shot to win the Champions League.
Yeah,
I'm going FA Cup.
Burnley didn't get that top 4 money though. I mean, they didn't. We're talking. You get depending on
what Burnley was Europa. No, I might have that wrong. I think it was Europa for Burnley.
Yeah, but still, I mean, even if it wasn't Europa, I mean, that's fine. But I mean, the higher you place in the league, the more money you get. So And the top 4 means could be 4, 3, 2, or 1. And winning a fucking title, dude, that is a trophy along with that.
Oh, well, all right. Well, yeah, I would take Champions League win over FA Cup.
That's what
yeah.
Now it's tough. But FA Cup, it's more prestigious, I guess, over history.
Yeah.
But damn, winning the title is fucking prestigious too. I remember the last 5 fucking league champions. I don't remember the last 5 FA Cup champions.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
True.
But anyway, Larry, what do you say?
So bad to have both.
Exactly.
There you go. Good answer.
Let's have both, everybody.
I mean, I would say, to be honest, like with our current squad, give me FA Cup this year.
Yeah.
Let's do top 4 next year. Because just the money, like you said, Liam, I'm going to remember if we win the FA Cup this year. Now, the rest of the world might not, but we will.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. Now, I think it's more likely that we win the league this year than we actually win the FA Cup this year. In the beginning of the season, I thought, this is our year. We got the fucking FA Cup kits. We're good to go.
Yeah.
The atmosphere on the club is high. We're signing great players. We're spending more money again. Great. Let's go. And this is the year. And then how they treated the Carabao Cup just showed me that.
Oh, God.
I hope they don't treat the fucking FA Cup the same way. But Pellegrini doesn't really give a fuck about cups as far as I know. But anyway, I'm not there. I don't know. But all right, next question is, Liam, what about West Ham do you love?
Oh, man. And this is going to sound like blowing smoke, but I actually really love the fans. I think that's been one of the best things within the last couple of years. Is just meeting a lot of people through Twitter. I mean, meeting all of you guys tonight. The people that are in the chat room. I hope I'm not butchering this, but Ajasuma, who's watching live from Ghana, like that's badass, man.
That's
like
cool,
the reach that social media allows us to have, the connectivity. I mean, like I said, when I was a punk rock kid growing up in upstate New York, there was fuck all to hang out with and talk West Ham United. I mean, I had friends that were soccer fans, but I mean, they watched domestic. Nobody gave a shit about anything overseas. I would say it was not till 2006 when Green Street came out, and all of a sudden everybody was a fucking West Ham fan because they were like, "Oh, you fight in soccer? This is awesome!" I'm like, no, this is oh my god, are you fucking shitting me? I'm like, yeah, it's a good movie, and I liked Lord of the Rings too, but what the fuck? So it's like even being out here, I've been here almost 9 years now, and it's only within this last year that I've met other Hammers fans here in Central California. So I mean. I love this. I love that there is more connectivity, that I could shoot the shit, that it's people that have been a fan as long as I have or less, in which case, like, we have more connectivity. We have more of that. We're coming from the same thing. It's totally different here than being somebody that lives down the street, a train ride away, that can watch them week in and week out. Like, we're up at 4:30 in the morning to watch these games, on our phone, so I don't wake up the missus and my kid next to me. So I dig it. I mean, I love this kind of stuff.
Well, we're gonna keep in mind we're gonna flip the script for the next question. So about like what do you hate? So just think about that as the other guys are answering.
Sure.
So what do you love about West Ham, Mark?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the fans, it's the overall support. For me being in Philly, had a lot of misery sports wise in Philadelphia. So West Ham, it just felt like home. It was, it's it's that blue collar type club. You can kind of walk around. Whenever I have my West Ham stuff on, it's people are just like, oh, that West Ham. It's like, yeah, damn right it is, motherfucker. It's like I like that where people. It's not just it's another Ronaldo jersey or it's another this. It's like, oh wow, that's. This guy, he's somebody who really has to like what he's liking there to put a West Ham hat on and a jersey on, and I like the pride of that, and it is the fans, the support, everybody you do talk to who does like the club, it is like a family, and for not being over there or really being deep into it for as long as I have been, but. Everybody treats you great, and it's a cool club to support.
Definitely, man. And you guys hit it right on the head. I mean, so far is that pretty much everybody. I'd say almost everybody. I mean, in one way, shape, or form, answers family, supporters. The fans. It's just whatever. I mean, it's all about the unity, the camaraderie, the fact that we share the misery together, and but at the same time, when the glory does come, or we do get a win, there's nothing fucking like it.
It's great.
And we all have that to share together. And thanks to this, show, I've met, I'm telling you, from all over the world too, because we've had UK guests on. We've had Neil, the guy in the chat room, on. We did an interview with him. If you guys want to go back and check that out, Neil from Australia, dude, talking to a guy from South Australia about West Ham, that's fucking awesome. And I've met some of the coolest people, including you guys. I've met some of the coolest people in the fucking world, because of this. So thank you, YouTube and everything else. But they're just fucking robots. They don't hear anything I'm saying, and they don't give me any money, so I don't give a shit. So I'm still swear. Anyway, Larry, what do you say, man? You think it's family? You think it's something else? What do you love about West Ham?
It's not easy. It's not been easy to be. There's been some pretty rough periods of time. It's not like, let's be honest, you're Man City, or that's my biggest thing around here is like, it's easy for people to be a fucking Liverpool fan or a Man City fan. And I see so many people coming out of the woodwork. This is, I don't know, it pisses me off. We're a gritty fan base, man. Like, it's not, we get stoked when we lose, and it's not this fair weather, fickle shit, It's easy to be a Liverpool fan right now. It's been easy for the last 5 years. Show me some effort and challenges. And let's see what their fan base looks like in that period of time. So,
Liam, what about West Ham do you hate?
Oh man, I think.
And just keep in mind, just real quick, so everybody knows, we have like 10 minutes left, so we need to kind of wrap this up.
Through. Sure. Okay. I think the inconsistency. I think it's frustrating. It'd be nice to just be more reliable in what you expect, but I guess you kind of love to hate it, right? Because that is part of being a West Ham fan, is the roller coaster ride. So I mean, it's all, even when it's terrible, it's still fucking good. So that's what it is.
What about you, Mark? You just lost something there in the background.
Man, shit. For me, it's the stadium and the gap of the fans to the pitch. I want that shit closer. Make it a little tighter. Make it a fortress again, and really start tighten it up there so we can get the fans right onto the pitch.
But we have claret carpet now.
I know, it's beautiful.
Larry, man.
The same reason I love the West Ham club is because we win and we lose, and that's the same fucking reason I hate it. It's frustrating. We continually show up for the Big Six. I mean, the last time in the theme of the last 10 years, 15, as long as I can remember, we always play well against the Big Six and lose to fucking teams we have no business ever. Case in point, fucking Everton. There's no way in hell that was just lack of effort. That's the shit that pisses me off. And that's what's frustrating. We just take weeks off and days off, and I don't know.
I don't know. I'd say the most common answer for this one is inconsistency. Yeah. In West Ham.
Also, my Twitter is 1T, Larry TN32.
Did I fuck that up? My fingers are like
2 T's.
Sorry. So let me try that again. It's shit, man.
I usually just tweet about the NBA and a little bit of West Ham stuff. So,
well, you gotta tweet more about West Ham stuff now that you got a supporters group. So
yeah. And some Indy Love. You guys want to follow our growth to the MLS? That's our big push right now. So,
nice.
Hell yeah, man. So I think I got it right this time. Cool. All right. Next question is a good one. It's usually, I don't know, one of the most inappropriate ones to know. What is your favorite curse word, Liam?
Oh man, fuck. It's the most versatile. Fucking fuckity fuck this fucking fuck. I mean, you can have an entire conversation just on the word fuck. So I love that one. I'll stick with fuck.
Yeah. That's I think this is the number one answer, but there's a close second, and I don't know if any of you other guys might have it. Mark.
Yeah, that's fuck.
All right, good. All right. Just in case the kids are watching.
Yep.
Right.
Mine's I say shit piss a lot.
Shit piss. Yeah. See, I say dick knuckle.
Dick knuckle.
Yeah.
I like that.
It's like taking two words and put it together. And,
Yeah.
Shit piss, huh? I like that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start saying that at work tomorrow. Fucking hate all the shit piss heads I fucking work with. So
There you go.
all right. Next one is what team, not teams, team do you love to beat? Liam.
Ooh, Tottenham for fucking sure.
Yeah.
I mean that being able to give them their first loss at New Shite Hart Lane this past fucking season.
Yeah.
That's next level for me. I mean, I understand the history. Millwall is our biggest rival, but I think in the common era right now, I will fucking always take a win over Tottenham. Literally, we could lose every game out of the season, but as long as we beat Tottenham home and away, I'm good.
We've had people on from East London, from England in general, that they've lived it. They've been around for a while. They grew up in the 80s or whatever, and 70s and stuff like that, and they all say it's got to be Tottenham because, or Man U or Chelsea, because Millwall is just nothing.
Well, we never play them anymore.
That's what I'm saying. So
they won't be back.
That's old news. Until they come back to the Premier League, it's old news. So, Mark, what do you say, man? What team do you love to beat?
Yeah, Spurs.
Right on. Larry.
I mean, just to go against the grain, I fucking love just Liverpool being at Liverpool fucking bar in here. I mean, there's only like 4 of us that are in there, and it's a fucking thing that you give, and nothing makes you happy. Because one of my really good friends, like 2 of my really good friends, they both have Liverpools in their fucking houses, Liverpool flags in their houses. So that's how people know where they live. So just to shit on that would be.
Well, I love beating them too, but my number 1 club to beat is Man U.
Nice.
Because compared to Tottenham, they make Tottenham look irrelevant because of the club's stature worldwide.
Yes.
So basically, there's little kids in the South Indies or whatever that have Manchester United shirts, and when West Ham beats them, they cry. So we're making kids cry all over the world every time we beat a club like that, because they're the third. I think they're like the 3rd most popular club in the world, or something like that, behind Real Madrid and Barcelona. So I mean, when we beat them, we're beating all those fucking pissant plastic, those people that just wear the shirts. Like, fuck them. They should wear the shirt, but we don't want them anyway. Fuck them.
Yeah, they buy the name. They don't even buy the team. It's whatever name's on the back.
Yeah. Exactly. So there's 2 more questions left. This one's a good one, I guess, but my favorite question's after that. But let's do this one. Name a player, past or present, that epitomizes West Ham to you, Liam.
Mark Noble. See earlier comments.
Yeah, definitely. Mark.
Yeah, it's got to be Mark Noble. It's got to be Mark Noble. He's just
another answer to this question.
I can't think of anybody else. It's got to be Mark Noble.
I guess we'll just move on to the next one. Right, Larry?
How about this? Who would be your second? Who would be your second after Noble? I mean, sorry, Larry, to cut you if you were going to go for
as well.
I would, if it's my second pick, it's either going to be Declan Rice or it's going to be Robert Snodgrass. I would say those guys would be the next closest.
They will be the next, but I mean, they epitomize the work, everything, right? I mean, to you, because we've heard Julian Dix, and we've had guests from all over the world. So people, from the UK grew up watching Tony Cotty and say, hey, fucking Tony Cotty, or Julian Dix, or Trevor Brooking's come up a lot. A lot. And
when my son got number 3 on his jersey, I immediately was showing him highlight reels of Julian Dix. I was like, you're gonna be a left back, kid. You're gonna be a left back.
Drop him, pile drive him, and kick him in the head on the ground.
I was like, this is a yellow card. You will see a handful of these. These are red cards. You will mostly see these.
Oh God. All right. Well,
I would say Snotty, by the way. Like that'd be my 2. I fucking love
the ethic. I love the everything.
Yeah.
That's West Ham all day.
Make an appearance.
That's good. Ginger Pele was always, he was another good West Ham guy.
Yeah.
Like he's he and how it ended kind of sucked for him, but I always kind of liked him.
Yeah, heart and soul, dude. I fucking lied. That's another one. It's just he wasn't. He doesn't get enough credit, I guess. Really.
No.
All right, Liam. If you could take a time machine to go back to experience anything to do with West Ham, when and where would you go?
Fuck, man. I'd go back to 1964 and I'd watch Bobby Moore take the FA Cup. That's where I'd fucking go.
Right.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Especially because we have Standen, the keeper for the 64 Cup, comes out to the Fresno Irons meetups.
That's right. Yeah.
So like it would be cool to see him here, but then also see him in his youth. So,
yeah, man.
yeah,
That's
cool.
a good answer. Kevin. Not Kevin, sorry. Jesus Christ. Mark.
No, you're good.
Kevin in my head. Sorry. Mark.
Yeah, I'm kind of going FA Cup too. I mean, it's the
Which
only
one?
one. So,
Because we won more than one.
I
We
guess-
actually won more than one trophy.
I guess what was it, 80?
yeah.
I'll go 80 because why not? Let's get them all in there.
That's one that's the number one answer. Just so you know, no, not the right answer. It's the number one answer. It's the most popular answer. That or second place, a close second, is actually the last match at the Bowl-In.
Yeah, that's
That
right.
was
That was going to be mine.
okay. Well, I was just gonna get to you, but sorry for ruining it.
No, it's fine. I mean, as much as I would love to go to 64, just to experience London in fucking 1964, it would just be. But yeah,
we've heard some obscure ones that we hear that I like a lot. The Intertoto Cup, the Champions Cup winners something, or Cup Winners Cup or something like that from the 60s. When we played Bayern, or I think it was Bayern we played.
Yeah, no, Munich 18
Munich. There you go. Yeah,
1860.
yeah.
So that was like that little, like that 3-year treble, right, where it was like 60, 64, 65, 66, because it was the FA Cup, the Champions Cup, and then the World Cup, the one West Ham won the World Cup in 1966. So yeah, that would be like that era. If you could just stick it out those 3 years, you'd get all three of them.
The 1923 FA Cup final,
yeah.
White Horse final, that comes up a couple times, and that's interesting because they explain that it's I couldn't do it. I'd have a fucking panic attack, man. There's just too many fucking people. They're talking like 120,000 people, and there's no seats, there's no nothing. It's Wembley in the middle of nowhere because they hadn't even developed the outside area yet, and it's just fucking seas of people, man. And I couldn't handle that shit.
I mean, when you say that, I just get a panic attack about the shitter because there's no.
Oh God!
Because I forgot you're gonna have to deal with that. Like,
man,
drinking, man. Because if you do,
sucks to be the guy next to you.
Yeah.
Or a kid, and they're funny, shit on some little kid's head or some fucking lady's foot, some piss in her purse, or whatever. I don't know. Sorry, guys. All right, that's a wrap for the most part. Thanks for sticking around with us, and I noticed we had quite a few people in the chat room. Neil Azajuma, we had Ajastuma, Ray Borum from Liverpool, who's a hammer.
Fight the good fight, man.
Good man. Yes, he's from Liverpool. He's from London, but he's got a Coyote Ugly bar out there too. So if you guys are in Liverpool, hit him up.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, and Gabe was in there earlier. I appreciate that, Gabe. Oh, Mike, we just had Mike on from the West Ham Fan TV fan cams the other day. He was popping in there on Facebook. That's cool. And Mississippi Hammers, that's our good friend Alex, who helps us with our shop, making all that cool designs. AHTV.threadless.com. Thanks. What else? We got a show tomorrow night, the OG debate, with me, Wayne, and Lee. And then Thursday, I don't think we got anything going on, except I think Alex might do a little shop QVC thing again. Who knows? Because there's new sales coming up and stuff like that. And then Friday, we got Friday Night Lights, dude. If you guys have not seen Friday Night Lights yet, go back and check it out. It's a really cool, fun show. It's just like Around the Horn, a show on ESPN. But we changed some of the things around, and it's really fun because we have three different, just kind of like this, where it's John plus three different people from three different parts of the country, and he'll, judge you on what you're saying on these topics. He'll give preloaded questions, and they have an opportunity to say stuff, and he'll stick a giant, thumbs up, and tally up the points, and the winner gets the floor at the end. So it's really kind of cool and fun. So now that you guys have been interviewed, if you ever want to come back and join a show like that, and people, have already seen your interview, more than happy to have you guys come back and do that or any other one of our shows, or maybe even co-host sometime or do some other stuff, like be part of our American Hammers TV family. So I appreciate your time tonight. Thanks to Larry. Thanks to Liam And thanks to Mark. We did post our Twitters. Someone was asking about that earlier. But other than that, have a great night. See you tomorrow. Come on, you Irons.
Come on, you
Cheers.
I'll talk to you guys off the air.
We'll see you guys.